let's have a look at our hairless leader, Mr. Luxon. Now, we've all heard this week, but I just wanted to bring back to a context of what he thinks of protest today, right? Now, remember, what people are being asked to do is bunk off work for the day, right? Call that a strike if you want. But what he's basically saying, what people are being asked to do is cut out of work for the day and come protest. And this is his response to upheaval that may cause, disruption that may cause. What does he say about it this week?
It's a national day of action that's happening on Thursday. There are some calls on social media at the moment for Māori to actually strike, not go to work that day as part of this national day of action. Is that appropriate?
No, that would be illegal.
Yeah, what do you make of the fact that the Māori Party is encouraging people to take the day off work?
I think that's wrong. I think that's entirely wrong. I think you feel free to protest. That's what we have weekends for. But I just say to you, Te Pāti Māori, they're completely free to protest as they will, as long as it's legal and it's peaceable and it's lawful. That's fine. But I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on making sure I deliver a budget.
You might be surprised to hear, guys, about 2 years ago, give or take, when he was in opposition and there was some upheaval and society came to a halt in the centre of Wellington and people couldn't get around and there was an occupation of the land outside of Parliament, consistency would go, don't do anything illegal, get back to work, don't hold people up. It's slightly different.
Yeah, look, I feel really safe, and just that's the access to my building that's very problematical at the moment. So we've made some alternative arrangements. It's all good from my end. It's really good. Just as I said, it's really about the Wellingtonians just trying to get around their day, and I just hope that we can move some cars and get some roads unblocked. And if that means we can get emergency services through, that would be fantastic. If people can get to school, get to work, that would be really good.
How would you have handled the protesters if you were in government?
Would have told them to do it on the weekend.
Well, look, I mean, I think the key thing is
the
protest is actually symptomatic of immense frustration in the country.
Interesting line. It's symptomatic. It is symptomatic of immense frustrations in the country. It's funny, It seems that there's immense frustration at the moment, but this is not to be tolerated.
A lot of New Zealanders feel like they've done the right thing. They've gone off and got triple vaccinated, but they're really just struggling with the clarity of what's coming next. And so whether it's the ability of small business owners to protect their workers without rapid antigen tests, whether it's people in the tourism sector who are really struggling in terms of when will tourism come back and how do they plan and organise for that. If you think about, Maddie, all the hospitality businesses in Auckland, they're doing it really tough, as they are in Wellington and Queenstown and across the whole country. And so, they're operating in and out of restrictions, and so they haven't got their revenues in place. It's hard to get staff. There's whole frustrations with people not being able to bring workers into the country, the immigrants that we need to get some critical jobs done. So, there's just real frustration. I think the real thing is we've got to lay up a much better plan of where we're going and how we're dealing with this next phase. And, as I've said before, I really think the government did a good job in 2020, giving really good, clear communication. But it's been really a shambles, I'd put it, from 2021 and into this year. And I just think we need to really lay up really clearly how we manage this next phase.
So the protesters have a point? Is that what you're saying?
Well, and as I said, there are good people in there, and but the issues range from anti-authority through to anti-mandate.
There are some good people in there. There was good people on both sides. We've heard that somewhere before, but 2 years ago, his thought about illegal protest, his thought about disruptive protest, his thought about holding up traffic, was literally, it's all good. Hard to get access to my building, but it's all good. It's all good. And it was probably okay for him because that protest was symptomatic of immense frustrations, and there were some good people in there. It's weird how you change perspective once you've got the thing that you're trying to get, which is not in power, to being in power, and people are speaking out against you and it's more harmful to you, whereas the last protest was more harmful to the then government. So it's all good. Now it's just a bit different, Bomber.
Well, I mean, I think he had a similar point of view with the groundswell protests as well. Didn't have a negative word to say about them. Look, the three main jobs of the National Party are to underfund public services so that the public get angry with it and demand privatisation as a solution, stop the Labour Party from ever gaining power, and to stop unionism. And the reason why you saw that look of panic on Luxon's face and he immediately jumped to, this is illegal, It's because the idea of a Māori strike on budget day would terrify the bejesus out of this government and the entire political right. Luxon has managed to fuck up so badly with the handling of the race baiting culture war shit that ACT and New Zealand First are all in for. He has mishandled this so poorly that it has ruptured back, and it's produced a level of unity and solidarity amongst Māori to the point that they now are unionizing as a race. And I would imagine that the mandarins of National and the power brokers of National and the money men of National and the donor class of National will be looking in horror at Luxon and saying, hey, we all want our house prices to go up 10%. We didn't buy into a race war because ACT and Dave and Winston can see votes in it. And I think that this is his panic response. Well, that's illegal. That's illegal. That shows just how frightened they are at the backlash that they've created here. And the census out today showing that 20% of the population are Māori, that 1 in 3 under 25 are Māori, that 70% of the Māori population is under the age of 40. The future is younger, it's browner, and it's not as conflicted and frightened about its identity as this, sort of groaning boomer settler culture. And there's a diminishing returns here of using Māori as a political punching bag, and this government's starting to find that out. And I think having a Māori strike on budget day is the most inspired bloody protest, and it will work, and I think it will scare the bejesus out of the establishment tomorrow.